Thank you everyone for taking time and tuning in to listen to me. Quick introduction. I'm Sai. I am one of the co-founders and also the CEO of Mobile Premier League. We are a very young company. We just started 2 years back. It's a little over 2 years now. We are a competitive gaming platform where people can come compete in games like pool, like caroms, like chess, like and multiple different games that you can think of to earn money, right? In the last 2 years, we've been fortunate to work with a lot of developers, some of whom might be in the audience, and we're fortunate to have learned from a lot of you guys. And over the period of these last 2 years, we've been able to build something which I'd say has some resemblance of scale. Hopefully, in the next 2-3 years, we will be able to take this platform with your help to multiple parts of the world and truly make it a global platform. So, with that, today's talk that I'm going to speak about is primarily focused around developers, right? I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking to you guys, trying to tell you what are the opportunities for developers, right? Like if you look at it today, most developers, the way you see is there's either an opportunity for you to publish as a free to play game, make money through advertisements, or make money through in-app purchases. But but the fact of the matter is that's not the only way for you guys to make money. There are many other ways, one of which is MPL. I'm going to talk about that later in the presentation. But to start with, I want to primarily tell you guys, right, that India is really on a cusp of a revolution in interactive content. And gaming is one form of interactive content, right? And India is on the cusp of this revolution. And if you see the last 1.5 years, the number of gaming companies that have raised money, the number of gaming companies that have hit mainstream attention in India is just incredible, right? And all of this, it's important to understand that why is this happening, right? This is not just random. This is not just because of chance that this happened. For any good interactive company to be successful, you need three things to come together, right? For any good gaming company to be successful, you need three things to come together. You need the device, that is, you need a large audience to have access to device, that is a mobile phone or some device. You need extremely cheap connectivity, that is, you need data, and that's something that's happened in India. But I think the most important thing that people actually miss out on is you need a method to make payments, right? And in India, thanks to UPI, which started in 2016, 2017, today almost every single person in India can actually make payments and make micro payments, right? You're talking about payments like 3 rupees, 4 rupees, 5 rupees. This, guys, was not possible, 3 or 4 years back. This was not there. And which is why, gaming in India at that time was not as big a revenue market as what it is today. And to be honest, you guys will see that in the next 1 year, this is going to even extend to all other facets of gaming, including in-app purchases, including, free-to-play models, which are there across the spectrum. So for all the developers here who are actually making games, guys, this is really the time for you guys to actually spend more energy and more time and think of making games which will not only do well in India market, but you can also take these games to other markets across the world. But India, in the next 3-4 years, you will be making a lot more money. Simply put, if you were making a rupee today, in the next 2 to 3 years itself, you'll probably end up making 4 or 5 rupees. So guys, this 2019, 20, 21, 22, the long wait that the entire gaming industry had in India is going to come to fruition. And when we meet again in IGDC 2021, I'm reasonably certain that a lot of you will, when you will meet me, you'll agree with me on this. And I'll tell you two other reasons why this is happening. One is just the core reason of this infrastructure coming together created a significant boom. But I think one other really unplanned event or a black swan event happened this year that kind of accelerated the speed at which this is going to happen. And I think most of you know that, right? During the lockdown, what net happened was that what would probably take a year or two to happened literally in 2-3 months, right? And this in India was also very visible. I'm sure a lot of you guys already have heard a lot of these numbers, but it's important to understand that the entire sector grew by 21% or 20, and 21% is a significant growth considering the scale of this sector, right? The entire sector grew by 21%. In fact, the time spent also grew, right? And if you look at it, the annual growth rate for online gaming it's expected to grow at 40% in the course of the next 2 to 3 years. And and the fact of the matter is that a rising tide lifts all boats. So this, in the next 2 3 years, is going to enable pretty much every single developer in India to actually do well and do a pretty good job of monetizing their games, right? So this is basically an overall perspective of how the industry has shaped up in the last 2 years, right? But I want to spend a little bit of time talking about who we are, right? We are MPL, right? The short form for Mobile Premier League. We are a multi-category gaming platform, which we've been lucky enough to honestly be in India over the last 2 years to have leveraged a lot of these tailwinds that have honestly helped us grow. A large part of our growth is just being at the right place at the right time. We were pretty lucky, and a large part of it is thanks to wonderful developers who worked with us in the last 2 years. We are a multi-category gaming platform wherein we do close to 500 million games played every single month, with close to 200 million cash transactions that happen on the platform. And in fact, we have about 40 minutes of daily time spent that a user does. And by the way, just so you guys know, all of this is done on our developers' games. And we want more and more developers to come work with us, engage with us, and put these games on the platform, right? And a lot of your colleagues who are there, sorry guys, messages. But a lot of your colleagues who are already there in the audience and who you may know will also tell you about this. In the course of the next 1 year, we in fact want to make this more open. We want to enable more developers to come and publish on the platform. We've not been able to do that in the last year because we ourselves were very young. It's not as if we were, some 5-year or 6-year-old company. We were just a 1.5-year-old company. And we ourselves were learning. We ourselves were trying to figure out what we need to do to enable more developers, to ensure that we work with you guys better. We understand you guys better. Now, thanks to the first few set of developers that worked with us and dared us, honestly, in the last year and a half, we've learned a lot of these things, right? And we are now in a point where we can actually open up this platform. And in fact, in the next month or two, you will see that we will be demoing a lot of these tools to you guys, and you can actually just publish your games. And in fact, you can publish your game. You can sandbox your game inside the MPL environment, download the MPL Sandbox app, and just try out how your game works yourself. You need not talk to us. You need not engage with us. You can just do all of it yourself, and that's coming. And honestly, we are very, very excited to bring that to you. We were hoping to do that by now, but you know what? Every release gets delayed. So even this release got delayed a little bit. But I'm really, really excited to bring that to you in the course of the next month or two. The scale of this is quite unprecedented. Numbers like this were usually associated with the Chinese gaming ecosystem, or for that matter, the American gaming ecosystem. But the fact of the matter is that this scale is there in India now, and this scale is only going to get bigger in the next year or two. And we really believe that each and every developer here can actually leverage this scale along with us. Our proposition is very, very simple, right? We always believe that the simplest of propositions are the ones which the customers learn to and engage with the most. We are here to provide the customer with a very simple, fun platform where you and I can play a game of pool, you and I can play a game of chess, compete with each other to earn money. As simple as that. And we believe that this proposition can bring in a lot more people into the ambit of gaming. And I think this is a fundamentally game-changing proposition. And this is something that's seeing mainstream relevance in the biggest markets in the world, like US, Europe, and in fact, now that's happening in India as well. What is it that we want to do though? What is the future going to look like? Right? What is it? Why are we doing this? Everybody keeps asking us, everybody keeps telling, hey, what is MPL? Is MPL a place where a couple of people play pool to earn money? No, that's not what we're doing. What we are trying to achieve is that in the next 3-4 years, we think there is going to be a platform, whether it's MPL, whether it's someone else, whether it's some other company from outside this country, but there is going to be one platform where a gamer from US will be competing with a gamer from Brazil, will be competing with a gamer from India, will be competing with a gamer from Russia in large-scale digital global esport tournaments. That is, you will see a tournament where 1 million or more people from across the world would be competing in the same tournament. Take a game of pool. Why can't this happen in a game of pool? 1 million people competing in one single tournament, right? We already have had tournaments, which I'll talk about in the next slide, but this is the future. This is what's going to happen in the next 2-3 years. And we believe that MPL honestly has a great shot at it. We honestly believe that your games can be the games on which million member participant tournaments can happen. By the way, this is not possible in the physical world. If you want to do a tournament in the physical world where you want to get 1 million people to compete in that tournament, good luck. Good luck finding space. Good luck finding the organizational capability to get 1 million people to actually compete in a tournament, right? But the beauty of digital platforms and the beauty of making this available on your mobile phone is that there is no limits. Some kid or some old person sitting in some small village in India can actually be competing in the semi-finals of a global large world pool tournament with another player sitting in probably San Francisco. That is the future. And that is coming. And that's going to happen literally in the next year or two. And we honestly think that we have a great shot at making that happen. And we honestly believe that we have a great shot of making that happen on your games. And that's what MPL is all about. And that's what we want to do. And that's why we are talking to you today. And we're telling you that, hey, we might not be here today. We might not be able to host these global tournaments where 1 million people are playing today. But trust me, in a year or two, this is going to happen. And we believe that the developers who will work with us, who will engage with us, not only will make revenue out of their games today, but they will be the founding pillars on top of which this global arena can be built. And that's the reason why I thought it's important to tell you guys what is it that we're trying to achieve, rather than talk about revenue, rather than talk about market size, rather than talk about DAO, wow. I'm sure you guys have heard enough of that, right? I'm not going to bore you with that, right? And to tell you a little bit, we've already done tournaments like this, right? In fact, in May, we did a tournament in chess, right, called Checkmate COVID, right? And we had about 16,000, pardon me, we had about 160,000 registrations for that tournament. And this is only and only from India. So you can imagine what will happen if you were to open this for the world, right? You can just imagine, just the numbers itself are quite mind-boggling. We've recently, in fact, also launched our first ever inter-college esports tournament. This is still in beta. It's a small tournament, which we hopefully aim to scale up in the course of the next year or two. And it's called College Premier League, right? There are 4 different games with a total prize money of 1 crore, and this is completely going to be digital. And all the games that are being put up in this tournament, in College Premier League, are games that are made by our developers. WCC Cricket, I'm sure you guys are well aware of that. Pool, Speed Chess, and in fact Rogue East, which is, I believe, a fabulous first-person shooter game made by a wonderful studio in Mumbai. This is the future, guys. This format of digital gameplay or digital tournaments is the future, and we think, and we think you guys can really have a shot at being a part of this future. The advantage that MPL has is that we already are open to a lot of developers. We already have multi-geography distribution, and these number of geographies are only going to increase. And the best part about MPL is from the day you put your game on the platform, you will start monetizing, right? We've had multiple developers put their games on MPL, and they've all monetized right from day one. It's not going to be like a week down the line, 2 weeks down the line, or a month down the line. There's not going to be any pipe dream. You put your game, you will start monetizing your game immediately. And this is not just some theory, or this is not something that I'm saying. This is all proven in numbers, right? We've had 10 game developers on MPL who earned north of 10 crores in revenue in a year, right? And all the titles that I'm putting on this particular slide, are actually games made by our developers, and we are very grateful to them. We are, in fact, extremely grateful to them, all the more because they trusted in us. They had faith in us when we were a bunch of kids putting up a platform where we ourselves weren't fully ready, but we are extremely grateful to all of these people who trusted in us and had faith in us and put their games on our platform, right? In fact, the monetization potential, if you can see, our top game developer is generating north of 4.5 crores of revenue. And if you look at the revenue jump from November 2019 to October 2020, the numbers speak for themselves. If you look at the DAU jump on this developer from November 2019 to October 2020, the numbers speak for themselves. And we believe that this is something we can achieve for a lot more developers. And hopefully in the next year or two, with all your support, we actually think we can get there, right? And to that effect, we've in fact announced our first fund set up primarily for developers to successfully launch and grow good quality games on the MPL platform, and in fact, even as a free-to-play model. In fact, the first game that we are publishing under this fund is Rogue East. It is a fabulous game made by a bunch of developers based out of Mumbai. It's a fantastic first-person shooter that is made by an Indian developer. And when we saw the game, we were blown away. People used to say that, hey, you know what? Great quality AAA level titles can't be made in India, or there are no such guys who can make them in India. Well, this is a game studio out of Mumbai that's proving everyone wrong. And the kind of game they've made is mind-boggling. And you'll only see how good that game is going to get in the course of the next 3-4 months. Because now with us, we're going to make sure that we do everything possible to host some of the biggest tournaments on that game, and in fact support these guys to make that game an exceptional success. This fund is there for everyone to use, and this fund is not in theory. This fund is not put up just to get some PR or just to get a bunch of people to talk about it. We are actually putting our money where our mouth is, and we've already invested a significant amount of money from this to get this game going, and we're going to do more of this in the course of the next year and a half. And we really, really hope more such AAA quality games come from India. And we at MPL are steadfast in support of making this happen. And if you have a game, and if you think your game is really, really good, please do write to us. And you can also log on to developer.mpl.live, or in fact, mail us. Just write to us, and we will be more than happy to talk to you. And we'll be more than happy to figure out a way that we can work with you. And in the course of the next 6 to 7 months, like I told you, we will figure out a way to ensure that there's no need of any talking. You can just go to developer.mpl.live, put up your game, download the sandbox environment, play the game yourself, and then just take it live yourself, and you'll see all the numbers and all the data appear right in front of you. That's my talk today. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for tuning in remotely wherever you are. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are safe. My best wishes to you. Happy Diwali, and I'm happy to take any questions that you guys may have. Thank you again. It's okay. I'm going to take a few questions. I don't have any specific order, but I think there's a particular question that has come. Just like, are you worried about changes to Android becoming more closed, such as iOS, or examples of more restrictions on sideloading, restrictions on gray zones, such as esports? That's a great question. Thank you for asking that question, Pierre. Thank you so much. See, if you look at Android ecosystem, they've already made an announcement that in Android 12 they're going to make it easier and easier for people to install third-party game stores. So I don't see that as an issue. I think that's only going to become more and more easier. I'm going to go to right at the top. We have a hyper casual game portfolio. Thank you so much. Please just reach out to us. We'll be more than happy. We'll be more than happy to engage with you guys and figure out how we can bring you on board. Do you specifically have any esport? Do you specifically have any esport team? Yes, of course we have an esports team. That's precisely why we are getting these tournaments up and going. How can small developers add their games on MPL? I think you should go to developer.mpl.live. There's enough information out there. If there's anything that you guys still that's missing, we are more than happy. We are more than happy to reach out to you and answer that. How can a new IP concept be funded by you before the development? Rohit, I wish I could do that. I wish I had that much money, to be honest. I wish I had that much money. Hopefully someday down the line, we will be able to even fund or greenlight IPs even before their games. That's just me being honest, right? There's given how do level-based puzzle games work on MPL? Of course, they do work on MPL. Puzzle games like Scrabble, puzzle games like 2048, they all do work on MPL. It's a function of you adding more depth to the puzzle game and ensuring that the puzzle keeps getting better and better as time goes on. And once that happens, I think you'll definitely be able to do. You'll definitely be able to make more games. I think just give me a second, guys. I believe Vaishnavi is trying to join the panel. Do I have to do something, Vaishnavi, or can I just keep answering questions? Okay. Sorry, Vaishnavi, I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Just give me a minute, guys. Vaishnavi is trying to join the. Yeah, guys, I don't think there's something wrong with. I'm sorry, Vaishnavi, but let me just take the rest of the questions. I think Mirza asked a question. A lot of developers have asked us about the cycle of hyper-casual games. Could you help shed more light on that? See, guys, the cycle of hyper-casual games is short, irrespective of where the game is. It's short even on your free-to-play models. It's also short on a platform like NPL. The thing to understand also is that as the game has more depth and the game has more levels, those games will automatically tend to have a longer shelf life, right? So it's if you're making a game which is a very simple game like say tic-tac-toe, right? Obviously the life of that game is going to be less. But if you're making a game like say pool, or if you're making a game like caroms, the the depth of that game will be more because it is naturally competitive, right? So net, it's a function of the kind of game. It's a function of how much depth that game has in terms of levels, in terms of gameplay, in terms of maps, in terms of different ways you can engage. In terms of different ways the customers can engage with the game. Okay, I think if Okay, there's another question which is asked by Joel. What are the primary personas of the gamers in MPL? And the primary personas of gamer is people, like any other platform, right? Like uh, different what do you call it? Different games. Like for example, casual games have a different kind of persona, or for that matter, games like chess, pool, caroms, etc. have a different kind of persona. Then you have games like first-person shooter have a different kind of persona. What is the process for submitting the game on MPL, and how much time does it take to integrate? That's a great question, guys. The amount of time it takes to integrate a game with MPL is actually very, very short. Now we've gotten it down to literally about 10 working days, as long as your game is ready and available in production. If your game itself needs some more time, it'll take longer, right? Uh, so it's you once the sandbox environment is there, you guys can actually just integrate the game yourself and just try it out in the sandbox. How can the game developer earn from MPL after publishing the game? The game developer the game developer earns from MPL in the format of a revenue share business. Whatever revenue we make or whatever revenue is made is shared between MPL and the developer. Will a story-based action game with a single-run gameplay work well with MPL, right? So I think story-based game with a single-run gameplay might be not. In all honesty, I think it needs to be competitive at certain level. If it's a story-based single-player gameplay, probably that's MPL is not the best platform for that. What kind of games do MPL prefer? We always prefer online games, right? We always prefer multiplayer games. The more number of players that are there in the game, the more fun it gets. Do developers take a call on showing ads, or does MPL? So yeah, guys. So as of today, we don't do any ad-based monetization on MPL. We are not. I mean, it's not that we don't like it or we are against it. It's just that we feel that that interferes with the customer's experience. Someday, hopefully, we'll figure out how to do a good job with it, and when we do that, that revenue is only going to be additional revenue on top of what you guys already make. For any more questions, guys, like I said, please do write to us at publish@mplgaming.com. Do reach out to us at developer.mpl.live. I think that's all the time I had today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking time, and really grateful for spending time and hearing us out. Hopefully, we guys all get to work together. Thank you again.